Hey folks, it's Maxie here and welcome to a brand new TW video with AEW. This is episode 56 now, and while it's only been 3 days since All In, it's actually been about 6 weeks since I've played the game. Fantastic start to the year for me. Just basically 2 weeks were in every time, and then spent the next 4 weeks unwell, coughing like nothing else, so obviously not in a position to record any episodes. But good thing is, I had most of the show written out, and yeah, hopefully, it's a weird place now because obviously you're on the run to All Out with a few big shows in between. The brand split that I've done as well is basically I let the game do it, and then I just made sure most teams were together. So we'll be starting some programs today. There'll be some programs extending. We'll be announcing a few things, and overall, it should set us in a good direction with Dynamite. And of course, we'll have Collision as well with Shockwave and Rampage's B shows. So we'll cover those results too. Also as well, I highly doubt they watch the series, but I just want to give a wee shout out to DLCFC25 and Legolas, two guys who posted AEW saves in the showcase on the RWC Discord, and yeah, I love reading the saves. I love seeing how they're getting on, and get envious of the good scores they get in their shows as well. But I was just to say, guys, keep doing what you're doing because it's been a heap of fun following your progress. But speaking of progress, it's time for some AEW Dynamite. It's time for the run to All Out, and a few mentions of the shows in between. Let's do it. So we're at the Giant Centre for this week's episode of Dynamite, and the good thing is there's a lot of fresh feuds, there's a lot of kind of new names that will mesh up with each other going forward, and we start this new era of AEW with the aerial assassin Will Ospreay. He says, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new era of AEW Dynamite. The rosters have been split. Both shows will seek to put on the best matches possible for you lovely folks' entertainment. Now, I've been hearing a lot of noise on the outside saying we should look to restore the feeling, and I thought about it, and I hope you guys agree with me, but nothing needs to be restored. We can only look to the future, and that future is bright here in AEW. That future is putting on those great matches, making those moments, and sending you folks home happy. So that is what we have to do." We then hear the theme of the Death Riders as they make the strides towards the ring, but they are cut off by more words from Will Ospreay. And he goes, whoa, Mox. Now before you and the guys even try and get here, the way this split worked, I'm not alone here. As the AEW Tag Team Champions head towards the ring, as of course Aussie Open can appear on both shows as champions. So Mark Davis and Kyle Fletcher head to the ring, and he follows up by saying, "So if you've got a problem with me, the three of us will happily meet you tonight in our main event. So get your asses to the back and we'll see you then for a good fight." No, Mox does that kind of thing where he kind of nods and goes, "Alright, cool, yep, we can do this." And he kind of speaks amongst the troops as they head to the back. So that's going to be, I believe I booked it because I booked the matches way before the angles. I think it is Aussie Open and Will Ospreay taking on Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and the Bastard Pack. Now, sadly, because I added in so many people at the segment, it only ended up being a 56. Storyline advances and lost heat. Will Ospreay looked good. We do hear some more words from Will Ospreay, and he just says, "Now without the way, one other thing I wanted to add, that this new era brings new opportunity. So allow me to introduce to you from my side of the world an extremely talented athlete who is destined for big things here. This is Michael Oku." So a 49 for the segment. Oku debuts his old school face gimmick, which is poor. Ospreay looks excellent. Oku looks dreadful. That's a shame, but he's straight into action, and we give him a big opponent from the off. And about that had some decent wrestling, but not a lot of heat. We have Swerve Strickland defeat Michael Oku in 10:23 with the Swerve Stomp. Made it steal the show, gave him a great showcase, but only a 46 for Oku and 91 for Swerve. And yeah, 76 is a pretty solid start to the show. We then had Renee Paquette backstage with Daniel Garcia. She asks him what's next. He says, "Well, Renee, it was a great win over the Death Riders at All In, but I feel like it's time I go back and focus on me and kick on. There's lots of paths I can go down, but I want to prove I'm one of the elite wrestlers here, and that championship gold should be around my waist." He's interrupted. All we hear is a lol. What a load of bollocks that is, sunshine. Elite wrestlers here? This is, of course, Zack Sabre Jr. stepping up, and he goes, "Little boy, you couldn't even lace my boots. I would walk the floor with you, look at my background in Japan. What's yours? A little run in the gyms." And Garcia says, "Like, yeah, you want to disrespect me and what I've done, where I've came from, and what I've overcome. Anytime, man, and I'll bring the fight." So setting up the early steps for the wee fight storyline between Daniel Garcia and Zack Sabre Jr. 64. Pretty okay. Probably need a bit better in the promo side of things in this show, which is worrying because there isn't too many promos. Decent matchup. The team of Kofi and Austin Creed. The Power of Positivity defeated the Kingdom in 7:44 when Austin Creed defeated Matt Taven with the Hammerlock DDT. Made this our storytelling matchup of the day, giving them some positive momentum and a pretty solid 62. Moving along, we have some words from the House of Black. Brody King says, "Again we rise as AEW's Trios champions, putting the whole company on notice. We will not only just elevate this division to grand heights, but we will seek to destroy every team that comes our way." Malachi says, "The house always wins isn't a catchphrase. It's a reality. We're three elite athletes who will always rise to the top. So AEW, be on notice, bring your A game, or you will end up in the hospital." So 63 segment. I think we may lose pot because I don't think we'll get anything. I was kind of counting on the Ospreay promo, but it's obviously documenting our new Trios champions, the House of Black. Next up, we had a decent wrestling match that had a little heat as Nigel McGuinness defeats Matt Sydal in 7:26 with the Tower of London. Sydal was off his game, but overall I'd say it's pretty respectable 64 segment, and the change is a gimmick change for Nigel McGuinness, and is a troublemaker now, and he was an initial rating of great. So that's good stuff, Nigel. I do want to give him one run. We then cut backstage to our two authority figures. It was, of course, men's Scott D'Amore, and for the women, Jessie McKay. D'Amore says, "Thank you everyone for tuning in to tonight's episode of AEW Dynamite. We're striving to follow on from the great success that was All In this past weekend. It was a very special event. Speaking of special events, I'm glad to announce that our next big event will be none other than the first ever AEW Battle of Los Angeles, a 16-man tournament to crown the best tournament wrestler." Jessie McKay says, "This tournament will be over 2 nights, with 16 matches on night 1 and 15 on night 2. The reason why, we'll also be showcasing the first ever AEW Women's Bowler Tournament, where 16 women will participate as well. We cannot wait for it to go down in a few weeks' time." So, before I was not well, I'd already done the bracket and I've already written out how it's going to go. It does look stacked, both the men's and the female, and I'm really looking forward to it, but pray to God there's no injuries before then. But 62, that's a lot better from D'Amore and Mackay. We had a wild brawl that had a decent wrestling and not a lot of heat. Saree defeating Camille in 10-17 with the Sunray dropkick. I had to squeeze a wild brawl in somewhere. It didn't really benefit Saree, but definitely has benefited Camille there. But a good win for Camille in a 63 rated matchup. Moving along, we cut to one of the sky boxes in here, the VIP boxes, however you wish to view it. And we see Mercedes Moné, and she's absolutely furious with what Camille has just done. What does this mean for the future of the Moné Corporation? That's a 62. We then had a decent matchup that saw Mariah May defeat Rio in 9:50 with a reverse bulldog. This one was to really give Mariah a good opponent in the form of Riho, but at 70's good, 65 for the wrestling, 51 crowd, 67 segment. Mariah May is getting a little bit stale. That's a shame, we'll need to work on that. Decent matchup, we had Ricochet. Had to add that in there. Defeat Keith Lee in 9:25 with the 6:30 splash. This match was designed so wrestlers couldn't steal the show. So we're trying to get Keith Lee, build him back up. And obviously Ricochet is going to be a good opponent for that one. 71 wrestling, 54 crowd, and a 70 segment. Keith with 57, Ricochet with an 85. Let's see if we get any positives here. Obviously, Keith Lee is going to struggle with stamina, but I just felt like if we could try and get him to work that with Ricochet, hopefully we can start putting him in a good position. We see Swerve Strickland backstage, laughing at the action in the ring as Ricochet defeats Keith Lee. He just says, "Man, what a loser. The big man should just call it a day." Scott D'Amore approaches Swerve, just says, "Great sportsmanship, Swerve. A man who had a medical issue battling his way back, and you're mocking him. What a sick, awful human being you are. You know, I was going to put you in the bowl of 16, but yeah, for that, next week, you, Sami Zayn, a qualifier to enter the tournament. Good luck. Basically, I'd done the brackets and missed out a few people at the start, and I was like, let's put a qualifier in there. So, Swerve Strickland, Sami Zayn should be spectacular next week. A 75 segment may save us from losing Pop, but it's all down to that trios match. And our main event, delivering. And it was okay. But they had some great wrestling and decent reaction from the crowd. Ospreay and Aussie Open defeat the Death Riders in 22-29 when Ospreay pinned Pac with the Stormbreaker. 81 for the wrestling, 63 for the crowd, 79 for the segment. All good performances there. Pac the weakest with a 74, and good to see, even though he get off his game, the Mox brought us an 80 rated segment. Storyline advances and gains heat, and yeah, we're going to see a bit of tension start to build with the Death Riders. I just ran out of time. Show increased their popularity in 29 regions, so that's good. That's obviously around the world. Overall rating of 75 is good. I did feel like I could have used more matches, but it was really just a case of kind of establishing who was on the Dynamite brand, and it'll be the same once we hit Collision as well, I think, though. Any locker room incidents? Nope, so I'll go and take Rampage, and we'll cover that before we head into Collision. So moving along with Collision, we're here at the Toyota Arena, and we start the show with Bryan Danielson. And he says, last week at All In, I defeated Jon Moxley to end my war with the Death Riders. With the brand split, I've been separated from them and can continue my career and all the fresh challenges that await me. Now, as you know, the time isn't on my side, so we have to make these moments count. That's why I've decided I will be entering the Battle of Los Angeles. It's a tournament I've never won, and one that I would like to add to my resume. And then we hear an interruption of, whoa, hold on a damn minute. That is, of course, Adam Cole. You think, oh, new era, I'll just come over here and do what the hell I want. Absolutely not, Bryan. We've known each other for years, but this is my time now. Also, you've mentioned it, the Battle of Los Angeles. You don't just declare for the Battle of Los Angeles. If you're selected, you're either selected or you qualify for it. So why don't you make sure you've got your boots, because this main event tonight is going to be Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson to qualify for the Battle of Los Angeles, baby. So I wanted to start off the new era Collision with something big, and that gives us that Danielson-Adam Cole match for qualifying to the 16 at Bola. Now, not everybody's going to qualify, it's just to build a couple of matches up over the upcoming weeks, but overall, segment's good, the 78, Danielson benefiting from the groundswell public support. We started off with some trios action. The losing team from Sunday, MJF, Ricky Starks and Wardlow, picked up a win today. They defeated Kip Sabian in the MXM collection in 6:45 when MJF pinned Kip. Overall, not the greatest. You can see there the heels all in the 60 performances. Pretty level actually with Mansoor. And the segment overall was a 65. Not great. This led to a little altercation backstage. We see MJF heading to the back after the match, and he's still furious even though they picked up the win. He just goes, this damn company, one defeat, and hey, let's face these damn schmucks. He turns around and he just sees the Hangman just hanging around, moping about backstage. And he goes, what the hell are you looking at? You went one-on-one with Ospreay, and oh hell, look man, what's happening? You lost. 'Cause you're a loser. And then Hangman just turns and goes, what the hell did you just call me? And MJF goes, aloo, and then Hangman grabs MJF by the collar, and he goes to attack him before the presence of Wardlow causes Hangman to relinquish the grip of MJF's collar and back down. And MJF just goes, yeah, I thought so, loser. So I kind of want to build something between Hangman and MJF pretty quickly, and that segment was a 74. MJF looked good, Hangman foreshadowing a babyface turn. Moving along, we had a matchup for the TNT Championship, the new champion Samoa Joe in action, and he defended it against former champion Jack Perry. These two had a decent matchup in 10 minutes and 57 seconds. It's still the show matchup of the night, as Joe wins by pinfall. 71 for the wrestling, 60 for the crowd, and a 76 for the segment. Jack Perry with a really good 77. Surprised by that. A little backstage segment with AJ Styles with some words for Nick Wayne. Listen, Nick, don't beat yourself up about Sunday. Wins and losses happen, and those losses build character. Look at the rumour of what's happened to Shelton. It looks like he's going to be missing for a few months, but you bet when he comes back, he'll be a monster. So I need you to be ready for that. So a 56 as we continue the mentor protege of AJ Styles and Nick Wayne. We then had a matchup with some decent wrestling, but not much heat. Bandito defeating Juice Robinson in 10:03 with the Revolution Fly. Bandito with a very solid 72 performance in a 69 rated segment. We then had the MVP just confirm basically the news we heard rumoured earlier on. I honestly didn't mix the segments up, but just MVP saying, ladies and gentlemen, I have some sad news to report. Whilst out doing business, Mr. Shelton Benjamin has suffered an injury that will see him out to early September. Shelton, we wish you well, brother. Heal up. And if you need us, you know where we are. We'll be conducting business, myself, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Bobby Lashley. It's time to hurt people. So a 63. Shelton, I think, was wrestling for Defy and is out until early September. So it's going to be these three representing the Hurt Syndicate. Next up, we had a wild brawl in the women's division. Jamie Hayter defeats Emi Sakura in 6:35 with a Falcon Arrow. Despite the limited time, these two put on a very good 70 rated matchup. They had good chemistry together. Jamie with a stellar 74. And a very solid promo after it, which gained a 73 segment. The former women's champion says, well, last weekend I fell short at All In, losing my AEW Women's World Championship to Mercedes Moné and her debuting friends. I'm frustrated about it, but I'm going to knuckle down and do what I can do to reclaim it. With that, and the Bola tournament on the horizon, I'm confident that the second half of 2025 can be a great year for me, and that many of the women on our roster are going to be drinking some Haterade. So a solid promo from Jamie as she looks to recapture the AEW Women's Championship and win the Battle of Los Angeles. Next up, we had some tag team action. We'd about had some decent wrestling, but not much heat, as Private Party defeated the Acclaimed in 10:01 with Mark Quinn submitting Max Caster. Max was the weak link here, which was only a 53. Yikes. But some good stuff there from Private Party, especially with Cassidy really off his game. I doubt I'm going to split up either team anytime soon, so hopefully we can get a bit more depth in our tag division. We'll see how that goes along. Because basically I'm still learning who's on each roster, so that'll take time to sort the ranks out. Oh, best segment of the night, 84. We have some words from the AEW World Champion Kazuchika Okada. Last Sunday, I once again showed I am the greatest wrestler in the world when I defeated both Orange Cassidy and Jay White to keep this AEW World Championship. Now I know that AEW is running a new tournament in the Battle of Los Angeles, and it's well documented I am the greatest tournament wrestler in pro wrestling history. Obviously won the Continental Classic in this, which gave him the accolade New Life. So as champion, I am not qualifying for this tournament. I'm just in it. So that's the plan. Okada will be in it, and I'm really looking forward to what is going to be a stellar tournament. Unless there's injuries, which could screw a lot of it. Because he's mentioned on Cassidy, it helped progress that storyline, and the segment got an 84. We then had some subpar wrestling and a little heat in our co-main event, which is a shame, as Nixon Newell made her in-ring debut, defeating Queen Aminata in 7:42 with the Vulture Culture Destroyer. Although this match was made to be storytelling, conceded in terms of in-ring performance, a 58 from Aminata and a 37 for Nixon. But I think over time she will definitely go over. That's going to be one key thing we'll look to progress her with. But she's obviously in a stable that is going to help her get there. 54 overall. Which then led to some words from the stable. First up, we have, of course, the head of the Moné Corporation, Mercedes Moné. Everyone say hello to your new AEW Women's World Champion, Mercedes Moné. What a massive night All In was for me and the Moné Corporation, so let's address a few issues. First off, after failure after failure after failure, you can clearly see who wasn't invited tonight. Camille, you are done. You are out of the Moné Corporation. The second point of business, I don't care what's been said before, I will not be qualifying for Bola. I will be entering that tournament as your number one seed. And finally, as you can tell, with a great performance there, Nixon Newell has joined the team. A highly skilled young wrestler who will blossom under my guidance. Then, here she is, my bestest friend in the whole wide world, a woman who needs no introduction because of how good she is. Passes the mic over to Bailey. That's right, suckers, I am here in AEW. I am still Bailey, just spelled a little bit differently. But I'm here to show the world what an elite talent is and truly showcase how good I am, how Mercedes is, Nixon, and that Sky Blue as well are all the standard of a global level. So basically just that is going to be the Monet Corporation. Very different to how it could perceive itself to be in real life. And yeah, I'm absolutely happy with that. I'm feeling working with Bailey and Mercedes can only help with development of Nixon and Sky. And in our main event matchup, the qualifier for the Battle of Los Angeles, it was about had some great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Bryan Danielson defeats Adam Cole in 22:03 with the running knee. So this is going to get us our popularity in the States, which was the main thing. Bryan Danielson with 92, Adam Cole just with 67. Oh, he's not doing very well. We need to work on that, and that's with them having good chemistry, so that's going to lift his performance even more. A lot more benefits there from Danielson. Cole's gimmick's getting stale, so we might need to look into a character change there. But 80 for the wrestling, 66 crowd, and 83 segment overall. So, we gain a 70, which only gives us 2 regions getting a popularity increase within the US, so that's a bit of a shame. I was hoping we could have done a bit higher. Maybe, of course, with the 2 segments in the 83 and 84, but never really too much supporting it, so maybe need a bit more there. But I think that'll take time because obviously you're going to get more wrestlers getting the spotlight, but not as many wrestlers that would have been as over because you have to split it between the 2 shows. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to book Collision. Sorry, not Collision. Shockwave, and I think for a one-off one, I might even do this more often. We'll go back to the main screen after that, and then we'll basically cover what went on in the B shows and if anything happened after this particular show. So I will go and do that now. So it's time for a wee quick roundup of the B shows. We started off with Rampage. Masha Slamovich defeating Brooke Havoc was a 47, with some words from Anna Jay, which was a 50. Shane Taylor defeating Billy Gunn, which was a 49, as was a promo from FTR, with an angle with Preston Vance, which was a 42. The Guns then defeated the Outrunners in a 58. Sammy Guevara's promo was a 47, and he defeated the Blade in a 61 rated main event. Shockwave goes 90 minutes, so a wee bit more to that one. Michael Lockwood defeated Johnny TV in a 41 opener. Neither were really over, so that's why it was hampered. As was Takuma Roha defeating Nazumi in a 55. With some words from The Righteous Dutch and Vincent, which was a 54, before they went 0-3 against Top Flight, who picked up the win in a 67 rated matchup. We had a little segment with Nixon Null and Sky Blue from the Monet Corporation, which was a 45, before Lee Moriarty defeated Zack Knight in a 54. Mercedes Martinez defeated Giselle Shaw in a 50 before declaring her entry to the Women's Bola tournament. That was a 40. And we had some mods from Powerhouse Hobbs in a 77 rated segment before he defeated Tomohiro Ishii in our main event, which was a 60. So pretty solid stuff. So I haven't looked at any of this yet, so we'll see what's happened here. Obviously we know about Collision. TNA have announced an extension for Rosemary. Well, it looks like it's going to happen, which is fair enough. Mike Santana has won the TNA World Championship from Nick Nemeth. And we also saw Jordan Grace take her 4th reign as Women's Champion, as Brian Myers has a bruised pectoral muscle. Decisions, that's us just extending Chris Hero, that's fine. We're basically in discussions to extend the contracts of Matt Taven, Alex Windsor, Arisa Nakajima, and Brooke Havoc. As for our news items, AR Fox has been offered a contract by Defy. Ice Ribbon, that's fine, I can probably sign it up to our network. Defy have offered contracts to Jimmy Uso. Sukeban have sent one to Mickey James. Jimmy Uso's a free agent, but there's just nothing that appealed to me that he was going to be any good in their product. Stats are really low, but that is what it is. I can't argue with that. Sooner Deep's been offered one by Sukeban as well. A couple of injuries, obviously Rob Eagles as well. We may look to extend Fekla. I did use her a little bit in the women's tournament to help went to match history. And if we can just get company as AEW, you can see there a lot of tournament wrestling, but 1 win and 11 losses. But as I say, she is only 32, so there is room to develop. and she has pretty high attributes in the performance and the fundamental and physical categories. Charisma's good, star quality's good, sex appeal 85 is very good. Experience 77, but there's still room. That I think if you get all these to like mid 60s, it's a very, very capable wrestler. So I think we probably will give her a chance. So, believe it or not, that's it for this episode. I felt it was one of those ones where you could tell it was like the first time I'd booked in a while. But the good thing is say it was a brand split, a clean slate. We're heading towards a tournament, so I'm kind of hoping after maybe like 2-3 weeks in game, not real life, in game. Once we get a couple of shows flowing together, we know who's on each roster. We start getting stories progressing. Bola is going to be a very aggressive attempt to try and at least get 100. As I said, that is still the aim, is to try and get all these achievements. Obviously, there's some that I can do in this save, there's some I can't. Obviously, going from insignificant to tiny is not going to happen in this save, but overall, I'd like to hope we can do it. Start getting 100 rated matches soon, even get close with the events, because at time of recording, we are now what? I started the save in October, so that's October, November, December. Starting the 6th month of the save, and then you extend that another couple of months beforehand the games. I'd like to at least have a couple of 100 rated matches before the 1 year anniversary of TW9, so that's where we're going. But as always, thank you very much for watching. Deeply appreciated as always for joining us on this journey. Enjoy the rest of your day, and of course, check out the Fantasy Bookers subreddit, Grey Dog Software Forum, and twdb.com. Until next episode in a few days' time, I'll catch you later. Bye bye.